Hey, RetconRaider here, with special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Matthew Smith, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Nathan Welch Jr., RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Solasta, Lost Valley, as the adventure continues. And today, of course, we are still in the midst of a very complex situation. We're out at the very edge of the map, investigating some sort of pyramid scheme that Orcblood has in the works. And it turns out that last time we actually did end up wiping out all of the guards. We just hadn't finished completely walking around the perimeter, so I went ahead and took care of that off screen. You didn't really miss much. There were some containers, but it was all just vendor trash and low-end consumable items. One fun note, though, was that the doggos are, in fact, completely non-hostile. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that is how they're set. I can just go out there and visit them if I want to. They follow you around, but they otherwise don't bother you. Regardless, today we're obviously setting our sights on the interior of the secret facility. We have multiple access points, but I'm thinking we'll just go in through the front door. I mean, we're going to clear this entire place out anyway. Might as well start with the densest cluster of guards. The one real downside here is that we did get a bit beat up on our initial approach, and it turns out we cannot take a full rest, at least not out here. It's considered too dangerous. So we'll just have to go in as is. That's fine. I think we'll be okay. Absolute worst case scenario, we can always just bail and rest out on the world map. Huh. I was really expecting to run into some guards in here. But, yeah, I mean, I guess, fair enough. With all the guards they had stacked out front, maybe they felt it was overkill to stack even more in the foyer. Let's have a peek around. There we go. Looks like we've got 3 Dominion soldiers, 1 trainer, and a gaggle of trained wolves. And sadly, these doggos do appear to be set as hostile. We'll avoid them for now. Heaven. Really flexing that spider cape. But I can't blame him. I would too. This might actually make a good ambush point. If we can get right up to that railing. Someone took fire damage. Advanced Study of Biology, which has unlocked a number of new bestiary entries. Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that whatever's going on out here, it has to do with experimenting on animals and monsters. That must go up to the roof. Living room. If you say so. Oh, hi there. Oh boy, this is awkward. Sorry.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis.
Boring conversation anyway. Hey, rest point. Nice. Well, that simplifies things. I guess these are indeed living quarters. I stand corrected, mysterious map labeler. So that was a mana scientist. Just as bad luck he happened to be on break when we walked in. But it does lend itself to the idea that they're fusing magic and science here. Creating better servants for Ornettis, maybe? The trained animals might actually play into that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that does make sense. Unusually intelligent giants capable of following orders. And mutant guard beasts. Those would be slightly more daunting than his usual rank-and-file cannon fodder. Looks like food storage. No, straight up kitchen. They've got stoves in the back. Always good to find a poison recipe right next to your food supplies.
I guess this is the famous potion.
Okay. I'm sorry, were we looking for a famous blue potion? Did I just completely miss some important detail about why we're out here? I'm going to assume that's just part of one of the quests we didn't actually take. Like from the Rebels or the Masked or something. Maybe even from Ornettis himself. But we've got it now, so if it turns out we do need it, job's done. Ooh, that's actually a pretty dense cluster of enemies. Alright, well, we should probably take those guys out. Looks like they're specifically guarding that elevator, so I'm sure we'll need access to it. We'll see if we can set up on this railing here. In fact, given that most of the guys we're seeing down there are melee units, I'm not sure they'll even be able to reach us up here. Yeah, if they have to run all the way around through the kitchen, or along this one narrow ledge leading over here, then that gives us a huge advantage. We'll pick most of them off before they can even reach us. It is interesting that some of these guys are marked with interaction icons, though they are very clearly hostile. I imagine that's just a holdover from if we were here specifically working for Ornettis. Which we are very much not. Nah, the wolves aren't really a problem. We'll catch an extra guard.
No!
Wow, okay. I really thought the handler was like the mini-boss of this encounter, but dude had like 25 hit points.
Clumsy idiot!
Oh, hi there. We've got more up top. I didn't see them. Okay, if they've got range attackers over there, that actually does change things a bit. We've got an archer and 2 arcanists, it looks like.
Oh!
So we're going to send Eben over to roust them.
How tiresome.
Eben's definitely about to get mobbed, so we should probably send Thygor out there too.
Lucky? Perhaps.
Wow, just not that guy's lucky day. That actually makes me wish that 5th edition had some sort of critical fumble rule, just to spice things up a bit. You know, people dropping weapons, tripping, or other various non-lethal but highly inconvenient negative effects. I actually used something like that back in 3rd edition from one of those many, many OGL books, which used a critical fumble confirmation roll, you know, to make sure it didn't happen every time you rolled a 1.
That was something.
Having a 5% chance of screwing up every time you attack someone was just too much, but weighting the odds of fumble actually sticking based on how likely you were to hit a target anyway did seem to make sense. Man, my 3.0 days were so long ago, I barely even remember it. I do remember running the Sunless Citadel multiple times. I always liked that adventure. I mean, it was no Keep on the Borderlands, but it had a lot going for it. It was a great intro adventure. But then later down the line, I think around 2000 or so, when the flood of third-party OGL books started coming out, I switched over to Scarred Lands, a pretty fun post-apocalyptic fantasy setting from White Wolf, the folks behind the World of Darkness. They actually did a lot of that interim 3.0 to 3.5 stuff. I think they actually did the official licensed 3rd edition versions of both Gamma World and Ravenloft, which I collected, but I never actually got to run.
Solasta, Encho, Malmis.
I'm sure I've mentioned it before, probably in one of the Pathfinder videos, but I actually switched off D&D at 3.5 because at the time it felt like a cash grab, you know? Having to suddenly go out and buy a full set of new core books and upgrade all of your existing library. You know, I had just come off of 2nd edition, which was rife with splat books and re-releases. So I was used to the idea of companies just rolling out slightly tweaked new versions of books you had to upgrade to. And the biggest side effect of that was that I basically completely missed out on the advent of Pathfinder. Which is why I basically had never gotten into it. I had to take a crash course in it when I was prepping for the Kingmaker series. I do have a bunch of the books, but that's just because I often hit the comic and hobby shop scene and rummage sales and garage sales and whatnot, and would buy up giant bulk lots of spare game books, and those would often have a few sprinkled in. So yeah, I basically just have this big gap in my D&D collection between 3.5 and 4.0. I mean, I filled in some of it, but I am still missing a lot of the, like, I guess you'd call it 3.7.5 stuff. I didn't end up coming back to D&D until 4th edition, because at that point it was basically my job to push 4th edition products. And you know, the place I worked at the time gave me the core books at cost, so I figured why not. It wasn't an awful game. I mean, quality control was garbage, which is ultimately the game's undoing. They just rushed out so many products, so many books and accessories, there was no way for them to really properly edit them all, and they'd often end up rushing out errata right afterwards that would sometimes invalidate entire chapters of various splat books, which was absurd. And then they monetized the errata, which was hilarious. And that's not even getting into stuff like the booster packs of player advantage cards. But like at its core, D&D 4th edition was a serviceable tabletop skirmish game with role-playing elements, and I had fun running demos for it.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis.
I do find it interesting that despite 4th edition clearly being designed with a lot of sort of video game-isms in mind, it ended up being the edition with like the least video game adaptations. I'm not sure I can really think of any major 4th edition D&D games. I think there were some licensed properties, but I think they were all real-time action games.
Deal with it.
And the online game was still based on 3.5. Sorry, just wandering off on a few tangents, trying to keep you all entertained. This fight's pretty basic, if a bit long-winded, but I think we're almost done.
Walk it off.
Ouch, I guess. Someone should probably go kill that guy.
Bleed.
I will say, though, that while it did suck to kind of miss out on that whole 3.7.5 era and the advent of Pathfinder, because, man, it is pricey to go back and try to fill in that chunk of my library. Those books are still pretty popular. I will say, it did give me an excuse to try out a whole bunch of other games that I wouldn't normally have run otherwise. I dipped into Warhammer Fantasy 2nd Edition, big fan of that series. Not so much the later stuff, but 2nd edition was pretty great.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis.
Did some D20 Star Wars before the Saga system. That was pretty fun. And of course I ran a bunch of Deadlands. I am a huge fan of Deadlands. And Hunter the Reckoning. That's when I did my Hunter the Reckoning stuff too. Did some Shadowrun, but man, that game just tended to chew up my players and spit them out. Same with Call of Cthulhu. My players would occasionally indulge me enough to let me run it, but it rarely lasted more than a few sessions.
Natura encho malmi.
That's battle.
I think that was 5th edition? I'm not even sure what they're up to now. 7th, 8th edition? Haven't checked in on that one in a while.
I thought you could fight.
Then after that, the last hobby shop I worked at shut down. Swallowed up by the early onset of now not-so-current events. And, of course, that made it harder to maintain the normal sprawling player groups, plural, that I had had before that. You know, there's a lot to be said for being able to just go to work and have a bunch of players waiting there for you to basically get paid to showcase various gaming products. Though I did run a lot of games after hours, too. That was when I did all the stuff that wasn't current and on the shelf. Yeah, after that, the gaming groups just started falling apart. And then I got into this, so I just didn't have time to do it anymore.
Natura encho malmi.
Next time.
Even just dabbling in YouTube is essentially a full-time career, so I could no longer dedicate 20 or 30 hours a week to juggling various campaigns. Even a single campaign is a pretty hefty time investment.
A modest success.
I mean, it wasn't as clean a transition as that. I did switch off to a much more boring customer service drone job again. For a brief period. The less said about that, the better. But once again, that was eaten by current events. I was freed. And now most of my time goes into this instead.
Wait till the next one.
Playing video games and talking over them. What a strange new world we live in. You know, I think I had an actual point when I started rambling. Well, whatever it was, it's long gone now. It is difficult to split my focus between what I'm doing in this fight and on what is coming out of my mouth. But hey, on the bright side, we are pretty much done. So I guess mission accomplished? Yeah, my natural inclination when I really get into a game is to just clam up
Coming your way.
and focus on what I'm doing. But that doesn't really play well on YouTube, you know. I've got these videos where I just say nothing for 15 minutes at a time, and that's not ideal. I'm trying to wean myself off of that. But splitting focus, man, that is... Well, I'll get there. Maybe.
A palpable hit.
And we are victorious. Rambling mode disabled. I guess that must go up to the other rooftop access we saw. Yeah, that tracks. This seems to be the edge of the map. I'm guessing that's the back door. I'm actually kind of impressed because that would actually imply that this place is kind of to scale to the building we saw outside. You know, it's a common practice for a lot of dungeon designs to sort of take liberties with interior space versus exterior dimensions. I actually really appreciate a lot of the little details they put in these dungeons in Solasta. I mean, sometimes they're a bit of a labyrinthian maze, but I like that they account for things like where the enemies sleep and where they eat and other such amenities. I guess the only thing we're really missing here are lavatory facilities. But those are things that often get overlooked in a lot of dungeon designs. Okay, so we've got an elevator, but I don't want to mess with that just yet, not until we've finished clearing this floor. So I guess that just leaves this room over here, and that caged area over on the top right, which we get to over here. Oh, look at that. More living quarters. Yeah, given the volume of guards we've seen here, that certainly makes sense. Obviously still not enough beds for everyone, but, I mean, sleeping in rotating shifts, I could almost see that working. I always love those classic dungeon designs where not only do they forget about all this stuff, but they don't even take into account basic things like how a monster would even get into a room that you encounter it in. You know, your classic dragon in a room with only 10 by 10 corridors connecting to it scenario. Oh, okay. Apparently we need to activate the elevator. I'm guessing that's the buttons we see up top there. And they've got this whole section barred off. Maybe that's where they keep the giants. Oh, now we've got a secondary exit in there. Interesting. Trapdoor. Guard wing. Living area. Man, we've almost cleared the whole place out. We're making pretty good time here. Yeah, I guess we'll be hitting that elevator momentarily. According to this document, this building has an underground level. Yeah, I mean, we saw the elevator, Eben. But in his defense, I suppose he might not know what an elevator is. Probably not common knowledge in high fantasy Solasta. Okay, so this area is sealed. We need some sort of cube. Oh, you know what? That might actually be like a secondary exit for when we're on our way back out. If we had Dimension Door, we could teleport everyone through. But I definitely get the impression that is not the intended way to proceed. I think that is basically just intended to, like, spare the player the need to backtrack through an entire dungeon just to get back out. Okay, let's check out that elevator. Descend to new depths of this depravity. That one did nothing. And that one closed the cage doors. Wait, so does the first one open the doors? Right, yeah, that just controls the cell doors. There's no connection to the elevator. So is the elevator already active? It is not. We need a pyramid key. But we've already explored this entire area. We need 2 keys, and we have not come across either of them in clearing out both the interior and exterior of this pyramid. What am I missing here? Okay, let's go grab a full rest real quick, get Spiegel back in play. And then I guess we'll try the stairs?
Okay, you're tough.
And buffs.
Solasta, Abio, RobbyB. Solasta, Abio, Lipe.
Natura, Muto, Ribe.
Okay. I mean, I thought this took us to the roof, but let's see. Oh, we've got a second level. All right. Sure, why not? I mean, now I do feel like they took liberty with the with the internal space. We can see a ladder up there. That must be what goes up to the rooftop access, as we saw. Maybe it was actually big enough. First floor was 3 tiles tall. This one's 4, so if the exterior is at least 7 tiles tall... Maybe. I mean, it is ultimately a minor thing. It's just my DM brain trying to parse out the details of the dungeon layout. I used to spend many an hour poring over sheets of graph paper and my slowly expanding collection of Master Maze components. Multi-tiered level layout. Ah, okay. So that must connect to the guard quarters. Yes. So this level would be slightly smaller than the first level? No, they're exactly the same size. Let's see what we've got up here.
Nothing interesting here.
Oh, good. Then why was it there? Oh, hey, square key. Ooh. Please don't tell me we just pulled a Belt of Giant Strength. at the point where we officially no longer need one. Oh, no, it's a Belt of Dwarvenkind. Interesting. That might actually be useful. +2 con. Enhanced resistance to poison. See in dim light, no big deal. Dwarven language proficiency. And a 50% chance to grow a rugged beard. Eben might appreciate that. Probably shouldn't give it to Mora. That's a maybe. That's a maybe. I might swap that onto Eben or Thygor. I'll have to think on that, but feel free to let me know what you guys think. +1 short sword, no big deal. Oh, and we've got Dominion. Yeah, they're right near those bars, so they'll spot us once we approach that door. Small, cramped room. That works to our advantage. Ideal for call lightning. Yeah, okay, we've got time. Let's go ahead and knock these guys out. Make a little more progress before we call this an episode. Oh, also, that was the pyramid key, not the square key. So we now have access to the elevator. And we're on. Ah, crud. Okay. Yep, no time for that. Thygor, you're up.
You'll get us all killed.
Alright, we will immediately have Thygor push for those buttons. He's the only one they can see, so that should draw them all towards him and away from the rest of the party. Get them all clustered up for some AoE.
No quarter given.
Oh, we've got another caster downstairs. That's tricksy. Alright, looks like we've got a pretty good cluster going on here. Let's bring the thunder. Call the lightning. And you know what? We'll go all out on this one. We've got full coverage on the room, so we might as well take full advantage of that.
Clumsy.
That's caster number 1. I think we'll have Eben make a dash for caster 2. Wow, we didn't have much luck on surprise. None of these guys were surprised. Maybe they technically spotted us right before we threw that javelin.
I don't believe it.
Mora, I'm gonna need you to put these guys on hold for me.
Damn! Solasta, Encho, Malmis.
Hey, I'll take that. We'll try to be slightly more careful with Spiegel this time.
Again, harder.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Arcana, Muto, RobbyB.
Let's get you on that Arcanist.
We won't be fooled so easily.
Yeah, great. I figured.
Die!
Cue the lightning.
You'll get a nice scar.
Spiegel. Hey, you got your bonuses back. There's our other rooftop access. Yeah, that tracks. That's actually really convenient for us, because we are going to have to drop things off at our stash point again before the next episode. We are picking up a boatload of vendor trash in here.
Solasta, Evo, Malmis. Damn.
That's the caster. Oh, can we skirt past this trap without setting it off?
Crude trap.
Oh, interesting. Why would you trap the inside of a cell? Nice, nice. We also did not set off the trap. You know, it would actually be nice if we could do, like, manual jumping in Solasta to deliberately jump over dangerous tiles like that.
Take that.
Or even over obstacles or enemies' heads if you have sufficient vertical jumpitude. Though I suppose in its current incarnation, Solasta only really tracks horizontal jumpitude. Trying to figure in things like vertical leap arcs might be a bit too much even for this game. Alright, let's wrap this up.
Solasta, evil, promise.
Let's go ahead and start bringing Leyrin in too. I am a bit worried that we might have some reinforcements coming, and that would be where they'd spawn.
More.
You have them now.
That's the way.
Oh yeah, I guess we do have that archer pinned. Poor gal.
Solasta, evil, Malmis.
Really, Mora?
Victory is mine.
Well, no matter, I suppose. What is matter? Never mind. What is mind? No matter. Another group of the Dominion's finest felled before our fury. And another giant pile of vendor trash for our stash. Plus maybe one or two useful things here and there. I mean, obviously the gold, I guess. Not bad, not bad. Stardust. I'm not sure we've actually seen any recipes that use Stardust yet. I think that's primarily used in high-end, light-based weaponry. A stack of research notes. Hey, nice. Sadly, we can't actually read these things, so I have no idea what the research is about. Well, I mean, we have some idea, but it would be nice to get some actual details. I've mentioned it before, but that is one of my general complaints about the Lost Valley campaign. They really skimped on the lore items. There are a few here and there, but they're often just these really small, vague snippets that you really have to stretch to kind of fit into part of an overarching plot.
We must be more careful.
Oh, I see. So they're not so much traps as they are like kill switches for prisoners. That's grim. But yeah, I just wish this campaign gave us more clues and fascinating lore snippets to puzzle over and fit together. I mean, there is a lot going on in Lost Valley behind the scenes. We've got 5 different factions all trying to do their own things, all with their own secretive leaders. And I want a chance to try to puzzle out what they're doing and feel vindicated or surprised when it turns out that my guess, my speculation, was right or wrong. But they just don't really give you a whole lot to work with. On the one hand, it does keep more focus on the actual adventuring. But on the other hand, you know, I feel like it makes me feel less overall invested in the story than I should otherwise be.
Easy.
I guess that's it. We did get those research notes, so that's one of our sub-objectives taken care of. Plus the prism key just outside. That gets us access to the elevator. And we've got what looks to be a library over here. Plus another rooftop access. Alright, folks. We are past time, but I feel like we've made some decent progress today. We cleared out 1.5 levels of the interior of this pyramid, and picked up a couple of quest objects in the process. Oh shoot, look at that, we also hit level 11, I didn't even notice that. Wow, okay, yes, so this is definitely a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now, I will take a look at our options for those level ups, and we'll pick up here next time. We'll pop back down to the employee lounge and take a quick power nap to enjoy those level ups. Then we'll finish exploring this thing. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Solasta Lost Valley, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official websites. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon or the new YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.